Ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at here is the first emergence of the American toad. This is a very young male. It may be 1 year old, 2 years old, possibly 3, depending upon when it reached sexual maturity, but it's definitely in its first 3 years of its life. I actually found this guy right in front of my road here as I was getting ready to pull in to my driveway. I saw this guy just hanging out right in the middle of the street, literally stopped the car and was able to get him before another car came, and I'm gonna set him near the pond in my yard, so hopefully he'll call there. But this is a really extraordinary find, just seeing this guy and being able to help him to survive. He's really cold, so he's not putting up much of a fight, but yeah, I'm gonna take him and release him. But this is the very first sighting in the western woods of the American toad, so we're gonna have to begin our expedition searching for these guys. Look how beautiful. Look who we have here. Oh my goodness, is she big. This is an adult female. Look how big she is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what an adult female American toad looks like. Look at how beautiful. The good thing for her is we're actually on an abandoned road, so the odds of one car coming up here tonight are probably unlikely. But ladies and gentlemen, look, oh, she's trying to hop away. I'm gonna put her on the other side of the road. She peed on me. Look at how beautiful. Oh my God. You know, I saw a male just up the road. Is that who you're going to? That's it. Good girl. That's a smart move. Cross the road there. That's a good girl. Hopefully your breeding ground isn't too far away. This is why we're out here, the American toad, ladies and gentlemen. The American toad is my favorite animal, and it's amazing. This toad's gotta be like 6 years old at least. Look at how big she is. Look at that. My God. This is why we're out here though. Let's see if we could find more. I did find an adult male, but he's up the road a little bit. I didn't think to bring my phone out, but we'll continue the herping adventure for the American toad. Here is another male from tonight on an abandoned street, so there's nobody pretty much that's coming up here. He's gonna be safe. Look how, this is probably maybe the biggest male that I've seen. He's pretty thin. He doesn't look big on this. That's a better angle. He's pretty big. He's probably actually about 3 inches. This guy is something though. He's not afraid of me whatsoever. He's crazy. That's what I like though. So there are no toads dead on the road, but I'm gonna stop him from trying to go under my car. Come here, buddy. Come here. Oh, we're friends. You can hug me. Look how he's hugging me. Yeah, we're friends here. I just want to make sure that you don't die tonight from me. There you go, buddy. We are friends though. I love you, man. But this is exactly why I do what I do. To see these animals in their natural habitat. This is great. Biodiversity back here. American toads must thrive on this road. But we're going to keep moving tonight. We're going to let this guy crawl the rest of the way down and see if we can find more. So the frog catching experience went really well. I saved 5, moved 1 big female, moved 1 male off to the road where they were headed. They were in no jeopardy. And if you see the one at the bottom, that's a female American toad, and the 2 that have the yellow are actually males. You can see the elbows are much bigger than hers. You can also see the brown face compared to the more light brown with yellowish, and it really distinguishes the toads. All of these guys are adults. I have actually not seen a male toad this large. It's really unbelievable how big these guys are. So American toads are very important. Like I said, they're my favorite animal, and without them there's a lot of pests that would run rampant, and these guys do so much to protect us. The least we could do is either slow down or try to move them off the road, because what these guys bring for us is a much healthier and safer backyard. They're the friends of farmers, the friends of fishermen, the friends of environmentalists, and just people who are gardeners. Also nature lovers. I mean, look at these cute little faces. Why would somebody want to run these things over? A lot of people don't know that they're running them over, actually, which I can understand, but the American toad is so important, and even though they're abundant, it doesn't mean that one less toad is okay. If we can prevent any deaths, I mean, these three here could have died tonight. So I am going to release them at this pond, and it's a little bit further away from where they were headed, but hopefully they'll start calling here. And as I showed you, the male, 2 males and 1 female, so let's see what happens. I will release them right over here. We'll start with the female because she is so important, guys. This is the most important part of Frog Week, is finding females. She's about the same size as the toad that we found on the abandoned road, so that's wonderful. I mean, here I have smaller hands, but you can kind of see. She is a big, beautiful toad, and she is off. What a beautiful little toad. And here's the first male. He looks like he was hurt. He has some type of black and blue mark. Hopefully he's okay. But there he goes. I just ordered a light for my camera, guys, so I'm using the phone. It's not the greatest, but it'll do for now. You still see these beautiful guys, and here's the noisy one. Looks like these guys really are going to the water. That's what I wanted to see. And we got this third one. Look at how big he is. These guys are old. It's good. That's very wonderful that we have old toads. That means that the population is doing well, having a big lifespan, a long lifespan, and these guys look like they're eating pretty well. So hopefully he goes in the water too. But the female's there, the male is there, and we have this guy. Hopefully he'll consider jumping in. Let's see if I give him a nudge if he will. No? Oh, he's looking. Maybe he's going to. Go ahead, don't be afraid. Round 4 of searching for toads. There are 2 males and 2 females in here. Tonight was a very successful night. I saw in my area only 2 toads fatalities, and I went to a different area and saw these guys, and the road they were crossing is a very fast roadway. It made me sick. There were some toads that got hit, and some of them were still alive. It was one of the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life, to be honest with you, and it's the reason why I save them, the reason why I do what I do, because I just do not want to see toads doing that, like getting hit by cars and stuff. So I'm going to take these guys and put them back where the other 9 were, so now that brings the total to about 13. Oh, this female wants to come see us. Hi, honey. We are gonna let her go at the pond, and we will check back with you there. Well, we have a lot of really exciting and good news and some kind of bad news. Here we got 1 female who looks beautiful and 2 males. One of them actually started singing when we were bringing them back, and we're gonna release them to the pond. So that would be about 16 toads, but there's not 16 toads anymore. We're on our way back from catching some. One of the toads was trying to cross the street, and that toad was run over. We found it on our way home. It was very close to getting off the street, but it got hit. So we were 1 toad short, but you know, that toad was rescued and it had an opportunity, and that happens sometimes. So it's difficult, but we're not going to dwell on it. We saved 19, 20, 30 toads in the past 2 weeks up here. So what I have here is another female that actually was passed over by about 3 cars. That's why she's a little dirty, and another male. So I'm introducing a second female, and it looks like one of the males is going to begin calling soon. So I'm going to release these guys, and well, we'll see what happens, but The total number at the pond now is 5, and it's probably around 20 to 23 toads that I've saved tonight. So I'm going to take them to the same spot. So let's pick this female. That's a female right there. I think she is trying to escape. I can imagine that she's frustrated tonight. So there she is. We'll see if she jumps into the water or if she sits there, or she turns around actually. I'm going to put the male next to her because he was trying to grab her. So we will see what happens here. I'm going to do this really quick because the one has mounted the female. There are quite a bit of males in here, but it was a successful catch tonight. There's about 5 in here, and there are, I think, 5 released by the pond, so that's 10. I saved probably around 50 to 60 toads tonight, and it sounds like there might be a Fowler's toad in there. I'm actually not sure, but they do seem to be making different calls. But I just wanted to kind of document what I found. So I'm going to be releasing these guys. This is what Frog Week is all about. Frog Week is about the conservation and the protection of these toads, wood frogs, gray tree frogs, and every frog and toad. Also, not just frogs and toads, but salamanders and everything else. Now, the American toad is definitely one of the 3 stars of Frog Week. Look how funny this toad is over there. But the American toad is one of the stars of Frog Week, and it was handpicked by me, not just as my favorite, but also because it has a purpose. These toads will eat a lot of harmful insects to people. The American toad, they also can help you to figure out if you have good water quality. They don't breed in they don't breed in places where it's pretty bad. They usually breed in places where the water's good, so that's also helpful. I mean, the American toad as an infant, as baby toads, will consume ticks, and the adults, the females, like this one you can see here, she is capable of consuming field mice who also carry ticks. So there are benefits to keeping these guys around. The American toad isn't necessarily the greatest pet to keep, but the American toad is a very great addition to a garden. It's best to just observe them, allow them to do whatever they're trying to. A special thing about the American toad, I believe all amphibians do this, but the American toad, right now in the grass, there are night crawlers emerging, and the toads will hunt them down and eat them. Now, whenever the ants in July around here will begin to start flying around and coming out in swarms, the toads will go to the very front of the yard and the toads will consume them. So toads are actually nomadic. They don't control territory. They usually inhabit about 2 square miles, which isn't as large for a toad as it is for a person, but it's still pretty large. A really large area for a toad like this size. Now, the American toad is capable of getting to about 3 or 4 inches. You can see these guys here might be about done with growing. The males on the other side of the pond are much larger. So, I mean, they always grow. Oh, she took a dive. She's taking him with her. Maybe she's trying to drown him, I don't know. Or she's going to try to find a spot to breed. Oh, he's not giving up. He just clasped her even harder. American toads are very, very important to the ecosystem. There are certain snakes and birds and mammals that prey on them. As I said, they're usually insectivores, but if they get the opportunity, they'll eat smaller frogs and other amphibians. They'll eat lizards, depending on where you live. They will eat different snake species like ringneck snakes and worm snakes and brown snakes. Now, the toads actually lay eggs that are smaller than frogs, and American toads, it's more like a spiral is a good way to describe their eggs. Frogs lay them in clumps like you saw with the wood frogs, and toads lay them in spirals, small skinny spirals. These eggs then develop and become baby toads instead of growing and getting much larger like you see frogs. So if you ever see real little tadpoles starting to develop legs, yeah, they're most likely American, Fowler, or southern toad, depending on where you live. So to conclude, so I can get back on the road in a few hours, and so I can see if I can save more of these guys, I just wanted to show you how beautiful up close these two guys are. They are unbelievable. Especially the one in focus here, this guy, the one with the injury. He is beautiful. That injury does not take away from how incredible he is, and it makes him, in my book, even more of a legend. The fact that he came to us. Right in the picture. I did not chase this animal. He came to us. And that's wonderful. That's what you want. So I am going to allow these guys to do what they need and to breed, hopefully, and let them start calling, and we will catch up with the next episode.